This is Umar for BoxNation. I'd love to welcome Alfie Sharman. I'd like to welcome, rather, not love to. We're in the present tense. Everything's going on right now. We're at Milo's restaurant here for a great lunch with Queensberry and DAZN.
Yeah.
And DAZN's Alfie Sharman is on BoxNation. Welcome, firstly.
Thanks, Umar. I think it's Mios.
Frank said Milos. So,
Did he?
But it's probably Milos.
I was sitting there and I was thinking, because I said to my wife earlier, Milo's. She was like, it's not called Milo's. It's definitely not called Milo's. So, but yeah, no, it's great to be here. It's good to be on the channel. And what a day it is. Very excited. So yeah, thanks for talking to me.
No, pleasure. And a superb announcement last night that the guys at Brain Cup and Queensberry and DAZN put together. I think it captured everything that Frank Warren's about. I mean, that could have gone on for an hour and 40 minutes. It went
The
on
promo,
for the promo went on for a minute and 40 seconds. But the work that Frank Warren done and the position he's in now seems like a no-brainer for two of the most powerful forces in Queensberry and DAZN to link up.
Yeah, it does. I think Frank's obviously delivered an incredible amount to the sport of boxing over the many years. It's a legacy that he's had and continues to have, and I think that's the key point. He still wants to do more and still wants to drive and grow, and not many people have that drive, certainly when you've achieved as much as they have, and certainly for DAZN, our commitment to sport globally is not showing any signs of slowing, and obviously in the boxing space as well, this further reaffirms us as the global home. So yeah, great day all round.
Absolutely, and the fact that you've got now Queensberry and Matchroom, the top two promoters in the UK and arguably globally actually, and then you've got Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, those three guys, and then all your other small all fight nights combined there.
Yeah.
No one can really dispute the fact that DAZN is the home of boxing, the global home of boxing right now.
Yes, I don't think you can, and the pressure's on us to work with our various promotional partners to put on an even better schedule in 2025 than we have in 24. Obviously, it's not finished yet. We've got fights every week, right the way up until Usyk Fury 2 now, which is obviously on DAZN. So, yeah, look, I think it's a very strong claim for us to have in market, and in my mind, it's all but undeniable now that we are the global home of boxing. Fights every week, the biggest promoters in the world. You obviously named the top three there, but we're talking about 29 promoters now that we're working with, and still we want to put on shows all the time. So yes, it's great.
And look, we know the financial commitment that you guys and DAZN put towards the sport, which as boxing fans is unbelievably satisfying, and we're very grateful for that. But it's not just about the financial commitment you put behind the sport, but it's the content that you deliver around it. In the UK, at least, your main sport is boxing, which is great for us, selfishly, as fight fans. But I think that's a key point. It's not just the finance that goes into it, but the overall commitment with content and everything else.
Yeah, well, we believe, we have people at DAZN who love sport, first and foremost, and certainly within our world, who love boxing and understand boxing, and understand that, of course, the 35 minutes of the main event, should it go that long, is important, but it's about the stories, it's about the fight week build-ups, it's about the weigh-ins, the press conferences, the arrivals, the media workouts. There's so many little pockets of interactions between fighters and fighters' teams, promoters, prospective opponents. There's a reason why you'll go to a fight week of a big event and you'll see 20, 30, I mean, you know this better than most people, you interview a lot of them, you'll see 20, 30, 40 pro fighters or ex-fighters at these events, because it's a great vibe and it's a good place to be, to discuss sport with people, to discuss business, to discuss what's coming up next. We want to capture that, and I feel that we do that better than anyone else. We've done it for a long time, we're getting better at it. So yeah, you're right, it's a financial commitment, of course. All of this is a financial commitment, but it's also a passion that we have, and we want to do more of it and for it to be even more authentic. So in order to do that, we have to continue to commit, we have to work with more people, to collaborate, listen to the consumer, all of those nice things that ultimately make us put on better shows more regularly.
I know DAZN entered the market a few years ago and really pushed boxing, but so early on into your introduction of the fact that Riyadh Season and His Excellency are so committed to the sport, such big fans of DAZN. I know that firsthand, and it makes so much sense for Queensberry to come on DAZN because of what I've just said. But with His Excellency and Riyadh Season announcing that exclusive partnership moving forward with DAZN recently, we've seen the best shows with Riyadh Season. What they've done in a year in boxing has been nothing short of remarkable.
Unbelievable,
So
yeah.
it's really exciting times, Alfie.
I think it is. You're right. I mean, I'm glad. I can see the excitement on your face. I'm feeling it as well. It's a very, very good time. Long may it continue, as I say all the time. But I'm very confident it will. I know what's going on behind the scenes. I know the kind of objectives we are setting ourselves, the ambitions that promotional partners like Queensberry have to do more and to do better and higher frequency. So it's only going to get better, Umar.
Alfie, I'm sure one of the most lucrative things about Queensberry, they got a fantastic roster, but the heavyweight division, which is the marquee division in boxing right now, the money division, basically got a lock on it, if we're being honest.
Yeah, very, 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 very tight lock. I mean, with a few exceptions, but I think it's fair to say that it's the home of the heavyweights, is the alliterative phrase that's being kicked around over there, I think, at the moment. So yeah, it's great.
And the work that Queensberry CEO Frank's son, who doesn't really get on the camera, is very much behind the scenes, but I know the work he puts in firsthand was instrumental in this deal, and so many other things that go on with Queensberry. Just talk to me a little bit about George Warren.
Yeah, well, George, as you rightfully say, is it's been a huge figurehead in Queensberry's business for a very long time. A lot of the work that is done, Frank's obviously very open about, and with his pride of George, and obviously the hard work that he's put in, rightfully so. For this particular deal, worked very closely with George. All the team worked on making the terms right for both parties and making it announcement at the right time, etc. You're right, he's a kind of behind the camera sort of guy. I would observe somebody who I've only met fairly recently in recent times, but very professional guy, loves his boxing. He's obviously grown up in a household that's entirely boxing, so I think in terms of kind of DNA, boxing DNA, you don't get much stronger than George. So yeah, I'm just really excited to work with different people, to work with different views. You rightfully say they're bringing obviously their roster, but they're bringing years of experience and love for a sport of boxing, which we have. But there's gaps for us to fill, and we hope that they will help us fill them.
With that Queensberry roster, because of the Riyadh season, the likes of Tyson Fury, Daniel Dubois, Hamza Shiraz, Nick Ball, the real stars at Queensberry, they're already actually comfortable with the DAZN content team fighting on DAZN, etc. So it's actually a natural sort of transformation move to them, which starts April 1st, 2025. It's not like they don't know the DAZN platform.
Of course, and the Riyadh season movement in the last 12 months has obviously helped that, but we've broadcasted Tyson's fights in multiple regions internationally, excluding the UK in the past. We've done the same with many Queensberry shows in the past. They were obviously very familiar with our business. We knew them. We were very familiar with theirs. So it was just about timing and about when it made sense for everyone. It's a decision. It's a commercial decision. It's a venture, so it needs to be thought out and constructed in the right manner, which it has. And now's the right time for us to announce. Obviously, a few months now until we start actually working on. Obviously it's going to commence from the 1st of April 25, so we've got a bit of time to not sit on our laurels, but meet the team and understand where their philosophies come from, ours, the ambitions. Very simply, our growth: more shows, better shows, more frequently against opponents that maybe in the past people would speculate wouldn't happen because of various other blockers, whether that was broadcasters. That no longer happens. Consumer hopefully will be happy. There's a more consolidated approach to their boxing on one platform. So yeah, it's a good time, and I think certainly for the guys at Queensberry, I can feel their excitement for the global appeal that obviously DAZN brings. We've done it for a very long time. We've got huge audience numbers all over the world, including obviously the UK and the US. So they're super excited about that, and we're very, very excited to be on that journey with them.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I've kind of given you what Queensberry are offering to you in terms of that heavyweight roster, one of the best stables in world boxing, if not the best. But I think an important point for them is they've got an incredible lock on the UK market in terms of the talent and stable they've got with them, and the talent that Frank develops. But now the fact that they're on the biggest platform in boxing, a global service, American fighters, Mexican fighters, all fighters, international fighters. Queensberry's an attractive place to come now for them because of DAZN.
Of course it is. Well, of course it is. And I think what we're able to do mutually is to bring exposure and bring, to audiences that maybe we wouldn't have been that familiar with either party before. The example you just gave there for Queensberry, I'm sure if you're into boxing in the States, you would have heard of Frank Warren's Queensberry Promotions. But the fact that now, obviously, they're on a global broadcaster that, as you rightfully say, fighters are very familiar with and fought on many times. The fact that we have as many shows as we do, you'd be hard pushed to find a pro fighter out there who hasn't fought on DAZN at some point in their career, even though we've only been a business for less than a decade, which is quite remarkable in itself, really, and something that we're really proud of. But yeah, look, there's obvious things and benefits that we can bring to those guys as well. The international reach, the existing portfolio that we already have on our platform. This isn't news to us, working with other promoters and consolidating promoters. It's something we've already done, 28 before today, formally, now 29 with Queensberry. No one's ever done that before in the sport of boxing. It's always been, dare I say, quite a political space. We respectfully don't participate in those politics because we have an objective to become the #1 sports destination in the world. And note, sport, not just boxing, sport. And to do that, you have to collaborate. You have to work with other people, something we do. We're very, very proud to be having Queensberry join us on that. And I think they also are sensing that it's a big opportunity for them.
And if someone said to you a couple of years ago, and I'm literally talking a couple of years ago, that of course you already had Matchroom, but you'd have Matchroom, which you guys have been solid with for years, and I'm sure that will continue.
Yes.
And now Queensberry, the top UK promoters, and I said earlier, arguably two of the best promoters and promotional outfits in the world. What would you have said a couple of years ago?
Oh, do you want the honest answer? Well, what would I have said if you'd have told me this would have happened? I would have said, yeah, I can see it, to be honest, genuinely. Because it sounds very cliche, but I know the ambitions that we have, and I live and breathe in the DAZN business for a very long time, and the boxing business. So I'm not surprised. I think there may have been some instances in that 2-year period, like after certain events or after certain announcements that may have disrupted that, and maybe I would have been slightly less confident. But look, I'm not quite as surprised as or the average boxing person, should we put it that way.
That's great.
Yeah.
So this journey starts on April 1st, 2025, and it's a multi-year deal, correct?
Multi-year deal. Yep, correct. Multi-year deal, international, globally. Yeah.
And I saw on the press release yesterday that was sent out that with Queensberry, with Matchroom and Golden Boy, you're looking at 150 premium fight nights a year.
Minimum.
That's really ambitious.
Minimum, yeah. Well, we're on track to be delivering close to 180 this year. And obviously with adding additional promoters means more fights, more shows. So yeah, that's our claim, minimum of 150 fights a year. And I am very confident that I'll even shake your hand and commit to having a conversation with you this time next year if we don't have that and we can grill me. But no, yeah, that's our claim. We're under no illusion that boxing fans, of course, want the biggest shows in the world. And we like to think we deliver those on a regular basis, but it's about frequency of people who love this sport. We want to make sure that they go to our platform and there's boxing for them to watch. And we're very proud to be delivering that at the moment.
I'm not going to bet against you on that. Just lastly,
I noticed that you didn't put your hand out for the shake there. I was quite up for a little.
I'll shake.
Yeah, do you reckon? Yeah.
No, definitely. I know what you're going to say is going to happen, and everyone at DAZN shares that sentiment. I know. Just lastly, in terms of Frank Warren himself, so you're holding a BoxNation mic there.
Yes.
He was very innovative and very brave, actually, to pull away from Sky and say, I'm going to create my own subscription service with boxing. Now we know, as you said many times in this interview, DAZN offers a variety of sports, a multi-sport platform, and you want to be the home of sports one day, let alone boxing. But I think boxing, it's fair to say, has been a focal point at the start of DAZN's journey.
Yes.
And very fortunate for us fight fans. What Frank Warren did with BoxNation and the amount of subscribers he had there, I think 300,000 at one point. Okay. And we're talking about a decade ago. And I'd describe DAZN as BoxNation on speed, if you like, when it comes to the boxing department. So this can really reach reach some new heights with the fact that Matcham's there, Golden Boy's there, Queensberry's there.
Yeah.
We could be breaking boundaries for boxing. Lastly, I want to
I
close
think
off.
we will, and if you throw in also the Misfits deal that we have, which is a 5-year deal, you're talking about a younger demographic there, a considerably younger demographic who are coming onto our platform in their abundance and enjoying boxing and transitioning over to watch traditional boxing. So, yes, I think I like that analogy, and I may use it. But yeah, look, it's a good time. We just need to deliver against it now. I don't want to sit here and accept too many pats on the back, because there's a lot of work to do. And those bolshy claims that we are putting out in market, we need to deliver against, and we have every intention of doing that. So lots of work, but yeah, we can enjoy it for a few hours, I think.
Again, I won't bet against it. Alfie, great to get you on BoxNation,
Umar.
and we're having a great lunch today, and
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Yeah, cheers, Umar.